At the risk of angering the powerful script variety industry, people, please be aware. Make sure you know what you're doing before procuring these over-enthusiastic actors. I've seen hundreds of variety specials, and I have yet to see one where someone is prepared to humiliate the guest of honor voluntarily. What's up, guys? Welcome to B.R.A.N Weekly, and this is a whole new setup right here. Yes! You are entering a whole new era of B.R.A.N Weekly. We're finally going to the multiverse. Usually, there's a jungle behind me. But now I figured, I'm just sick and tired of all that junk behind me that I need to clear everything up. And then I figured, hey, why not I move in? I'm still in my home. My brother now has a new gaming room down in the basement, so they gave me this whole empty room for me. That's right. I just love this place. Now I have a lot more room to move around here and doing all my professional stunts, including this brand new monitor setup behind me, not only for playing my graphics, but already making my big head already bigger. But it's particularly so to show you what's new. I have developed brand new segments for the show that you might enjoy so far, including the Arby's jokes.
Arby's, your show sucks.
If you're much more of a Disney fanatic, then here's more of my Disneyisms. In particular, by watching the Disney Plus special, The Castle Quest, with all the 5 Disney princesses, watching them kick butt and defeating Gaston from the Enchanted Castle. It's obviously something that's not true in the real Disney universe, that no princess can even kick butt, unless if they're trained by Mulan. I mean, Mulan can kick butt in her movie. That's why she's professionally trained and disguised like a boy. Oh, there's the graphic. And if I need to take a break for some reason, I'll be spending my time showing you more of my own home movies.
Alright, ready?
Number 3.
Number 3!
Whoa.
Well, I could tell you what else we have in store, but it'd be better and easier just to show you. Today is October 11th. Oh boy, I bet you know what this is. If you really know, that means it's the release day when Saturday Night Live premiered on NBC in 1975. And this is very special because it's their 50th season! 50 years!
I'm proud to say that I'm 50 years old. I'm not one of those gals who's afraid to tell her real age. And I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50. 50 years old.
Yeah, that's right, Sally O'Malley. Now you're 50! We've seen a lot of hilarious sketches, weekend update jokes, and a variety of hosted musical guests over the years. Most of them are very epic, and some, well, they just suck. You might be wondering what happened in SNL over those 50 years. Today, I'm going to give you every single one moment of each season, 1 to 50 of SNL for 50 years. We're not going to show you videos because I know there's going to be a copyright reason. NBC doesn't like to own the right to it. But instead, to make things easier, I'm going to show you some snap photos onto the screen. Not only defend your Mikey, Heidi, Keaton, Colin, Michael, Bowen, Ego. You don't need to torture me because I'm going to torture you guys. You just settle back on your seats because you're going to be my audience. Oh, and by the way, Cully, let's start with season 1. While he was a writer for the Lily Tomlin show, Lorne Michaels, the creator, decided to develop the show in a variety sketch way at the New York Rockefeller Center, where he found 7 brilliant, talented people and wishing they'll become stars. Ooh, very interesting. Dan, John, Chevy, Jane, Lorraine, Gilda, and Garrett. And every episode there'll be a different host and musical guest picking, with a variety of sketches all hoping to be classics, and Chevy Chase being the first anchor of Weekend Update, which of course he created himself. Season 1 marks the debut to torrents of George Carlin, Paul Simon, Candice Bergen, Buck Henry, which he hosted 10 times in the 70s, even Elliot Gould. And there's also the subsequent running gag in the B sketch that always gets interrupted or cut or messed up. I don't know why, but if you ask me, they always want to do a sketch that's completely messed up and interrupted. During the second season, Chevy himself decided to depart SNL, in which he knew he made a big mistake, leading to his replacement, Bill Murray. And that led Jane Curran to take over the Weekend Update position herself. And that was the season Steve Martin began to break out as the host. Well, excuse me! On season 3, we got a more focused icon on Al Franken and Tom Davis as they were promoted as featured players on the show, leading them to do more Frankens and Davis segments. And if that wasn't enough, Chevy Chase was the first former cast member to host SNL after his mistake from last year. Kind of known he's the only one to do Gerald Ford in his simulated actions. And of course, in every show, Chevy always shouts out, "Live from New York, it's Saturday night!" Whoa, 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 don't stop the music. This is the wrong show, by the way. Okay. And oh yeah, Dan Aykroyd joined Jane to do Weekend Update, making it the first duo anchors in the history of SNL. Season 4, kind of the same thing. But what I really know is that the Rolling Stones have been blowing up when they're promoted as hosts and musical guests, making it the only musical group to do double duty. During that season, Dan was immediately replaced with Bill Murray, making him another co-anchor to join Jane. Season 5, kind of the same thing, nothing much has happened. But Dan and John decided to retire SNL because of their Blue Brothers sequence, leading it to have a motion picture sequence. And this was the season where we see the last time of the original not ready for primetime players. It's because after the 5th season, Lorne felt really burned out to do SNL, so he decided to leave the show to move to LA, in which he also fired the original players and his writers. And that's when Jane DeMean took over as the executive producer of SNL, bringing 6 new talented faces, hoping that they'll be better for the new generation in the 80s. But unfortunately, it all flopped. Season 6 began a downhill for SNL, making the press dislike the new cast and saying that the old cast was better. Charlie Rocket was the co-anchor for Weekend Update, but then in '81, Gail joined in. But that wasn't until Eddie Murphy joined, and he brought the talent up for everyone. Which proves my theory, everyone likes Eddie Murphy better than the new 6 ones. Unfortunately, the show only lasts 13 episodes because of the first time SNL has experienced writer's strike. And many of the new cast members have been fired, including Jane the Median, all because of Dick Ebersol, the newer executive producer of SNL, in which he also helped co-create the show. The only 2 players that were kept from season 6 were Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo. On season 7, Dick decided to revamp SNL into a newer, better era for the 80s, with a new logo, a new setup, ditching the opening line, trying to make this some kind of fast pace to go on with the sketches, and having Weekend Update to have a new name, Saturday Night Newsbreak. Whereas mostly Brian Doe Murray, Bill's brother, being the main Weekend Update co-anchor, and sometimes Mary and Christine tagging along. That way we can see more Eddie Murphy in his action with Mr. Robinson, Buckwheat, and Mr. Gumpy, damn it! But around that season, they stopped hiring Steve Martin. They stopped showing Paul Simon. No Candace, no Buck, not even Elliot. What was going through Dick's mind? Season 8, well, it's kind of getting back to the basics now that everything's settled, because Dick Ebersol brought back the opening line back, and we got 3 new additions to this cast. And season 8 was very notorious for all the events that happened, with Drew Barrymore being the youngest to host SNL as a little kid, the banning of Annie Kaufman, and the notorious time Eddie was the only cast member to host the show, filling in for his 48 co-star Nick Nolte, who was eventually sick at the time. The world of Eddie Murphy began to blow up. Weekend Update's name began to change again to Saturday Night News, which seems more suitable at the moment, and Brad Hall was the anchor at that time. Season 9, same thing. Only difference is they added a new player to the show, Jim Belushi, who is the brother of John Belushi after his passing in '82, and Eddie Murphy decided to leave the show as well mid-season because he thinks the show is now horrible and terrible now that he has a very own movie career. But the show is very famous because 5 hosts were picked to host the season finale. Don Aballo, who was a featured player in season 5 and a writer of the show, as his alter ego Valdarino Sarducci, the then mayor of City of New York Ed Koch, Edwin Newman, Betty Thomas, and future cast member Billy Crystal. And to be honest, Crystal's better than Piscopo. Season 10, kinda better than usual, but it's a season where we get to focus more on Billy Crystal and alongside Martin Short with his hilarious Ed Grimley action and the "You Look Marvelous" Fernando's Hideaway. Since season 10, there have been a lot of pre-recorded sketches on the show, all which Dick episode 1 to show more pre-recorded sketches on the show more frequently. Unfortunately, that didn't seem planned. And Eddie Murphy was chosen to host the Christmas episode of 1984, until we never get to see him on SNL again until 30 years later. And Christopher Guest took over Brad's position for Saturday Night News. And this was about the time the writer's strike of 1985 came, which only lasted 2 weeks. How weird. But you have to face it. You gotta beware of Mr. T and Hulk Hogan hosting on the action. On season 11, Lorne Michaels has decided to return to Saturday Night Live after his 5-year hiatus, bringing a new, delightful younger cast to the show. Saturday Night News returns to its original title, finally, Weekend Update. Thanks, Lorne. And Dennis Miller was our main boy to anchor the show, being another one of the most popular anchors on Weekend Update. This season also marks the notorious debut of Tom Hanks' SNL stint. But then again, it was really terrible. None of the new cast members and the new writers that Lorne picked have no experience with the show. But we get the old debut of Mr. Tommy Flanagan, president of the Pathological Liars Club, showing us the scores. Oh no, the ratings were kinda astronomical. Yeah, that's the ticket. Eventually the ratings went down again. As evidence to an Academy Award winner, Francis Ford Coppola decided to direct the whole show for only 1 episode, having complete creative control, and it still wasn't going good. So what happens when the cast failed? Billy Martin decided to set the cast on fire because they won't be able to do the show anymore because they really suck. Eventually, 4 of the players survived from the burning fires. Nora Dunn, John Lovitz, Dennis Miller, and A. Whitney Brown. Lorne has been given 1 more chance to help SNL get its gig back. So he decided to hire 5 newly talented people in the stand to help get the show running. Phil Hartman, Dana Carvey, Jan Hooks, Victoria Jackson, and feature player Kevin Nealon. Eventually the show got its ratings back, because with the help of the newly created talented characters like Church Lady, the Sweeney Sisters, and the somewhat subliminal dude, transvestite. Something notorious happened when the 3 amigos, Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Chevy Chase, who all have previously experienced SNL, hosted together in 1 show. Season 13? Same thing. Only difference is that Kevin Nealon was promoted as a main player, but eventually the show lasted 13 episodes. Again! Because of writer's strike of '88. Season 14, same thing, but we have a new logo and a new featured player on the show, Mike Myers. Pretty talented, as I must say. And that's the time we got a little bit of Wayne's World action coming in this weird German show called Sprockets, where he is happy as a little girl. We got a first SNL anniversary special when they reached their 15th season. And that season marks the SNL tenures of John Goodman, Christopher Walken, and Alec Baldwin, another notorious SNL host who is beaten after hosting records. On season 16, the cast lineup began to expand bigger by adding new players to the show. You got the 2 Chris's, Farley and Rock, Tim, Julia, featured players Adam, Rob, and David, and it was quite bizarrely crazy at that time. Talking about when everyone was very cringe about Steven Seagal hosting. But we also get the Mark Toro debut of the 5 Timers Club, which is their annual tradition for any host that reaches a number milestone, the number 5. Well, same thing as the notorious season 17, but only Ellen enjoyed it to fill in the cast spotlight. Still a lot of cringe-worthy and mimicking. Al Friggin also introduced us to a new character he developed named Stuart Smalley, not a real licensed therapist, but he's good enough and smart enough, and doggone it, people love him. The story got a lot more funnier during this adventure, and one of the most memorable moments is when Barbara Streisand meets up with the girls on Coffee Talk. Barbara, we love you, the movie, like Bata. And Jerry Seinfeld got us on our knees laughing and dying as well. And after Dennis left SNL, Kevin Nealon took over his place in being the new anchor for Weekend Update. Season 18, there's the good and the bad. The bad news is Sinead O'Connor torn on the picture of the Pope in her last performance, leading up to her recent ban. But the good news is Christopher Walken brought the whole world on their knees and laughed out loud with his creative talent. Oh, and everyone was impressed when seeing Bill Clinton at a McDonald's. And we got a motivational debut of Matt Foley, the motivational speaker! Cause he's 35 years old, and he's twice divorced, and he lives in a van down by the river! Season 19, it's kinda overwhelmed almost. It's pretty good and bad at the same time. I don't know, maybe it's somewhat the writing isn't so funny enough. The writers are like, we're running out of ideas, please help us. Maybe that Gap Girl sketch would have helped get the ratings up. But season 20, oh no, this is worse. So like I said last time, there is a big mixed up change to the cast lineup during the season. Some of them left, new ones were replaced. It keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What the hell? But another bizarre thing is, Norm Macdonald is now a new anchor for Weekend Update, but seemingly the news jokes they did are seemingly to help understand what a child thinks in their perspective. It was kind of too simple. And how did the cast sacrifice for having the worst season? They all decided to go to San Diego Zoo and jump into a polar bear ice tank to get eaten. Very heartbreaking. After season 20, season 21 came when Lauren decided to bring out a newer, better era by dropping all the players from 15 to 11. 5 of them, which were kept, the 6 of them were just new. These faces include Jim Brewer, Will Ferrell's Daryl Hammond, the future announcer of the show, and Sherry O'Terry, and the show was back on its feet for good. And who could forget about those Roxbury's in the action at the moment? But I'm not gonna do the dance. Anna Gasteart and Tracy Morgan decided to join SNL in season 22, in which during the season there have been a lot of familiar faces hosting the show, mostly former cast members during their long run series. And of course, who would forget those hilarious Celebrity Jeopardy bits? Blame the fact that Sean Carter was much of a sexist at that time. Hey, let's not forget the debut of one of my all-time favorite bits, TV Funhouse, done by Robert Smigel's Cartoons. Season 23 marks the ever-ending final appearance of the beloved Chris Farley, in which he passed away in December of '97. That was his final appearance on national television. But Norm Macdonald, on the other hand, got fired for doing Weekend Update because he made too many O.J. Simpson jokes. And like I said, no one likes O.J. Simpson jokes. So that led Colin Quinn to take over the position to make things more like it. Season 24, kind of a turnover. But one of the moments I remember seeing is Jingleheimer Junction, where 4 pals try to spell the word. You know what they're doing here. In fact, this season was also the directorial acting debut for Jimmy Fallon. Season 25 had another anniversary special. Kind of the same style, but it's a lot more better. But all I know is that Britney Spears was served to be host and musical guest. Kind of like a bizarre mixed routine almost. Season 26 focuses on the new millennial female players on the show, which include Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dratch, and Tina Fey. It was mostly a writer at the time. Weekend Update decided to go back to its duo format, having Jimmy Fallon and Tina Fey co-anchoring Weekend Update. Season 27, same thing, but this was done after the 9/11 attack. And this was Will Ferrell's farewell season as well. but that season also marks the debut of Amy Poehler and Seth Meyers. Everyone has been giving out a farewell message to Will and how they really appreciate the work. Well, maybe except for Tracy Morgan because he gave like an honest opinion. Season 28, same thing actually, nothing exciting. But I do know one thing, no one likes Agent Brody because he did an unscripted moment with being dressed as some kind of Jamaican dude with long dreads, introducing the musical guest Sean Paul. That led to another bang, so he's no longer welcome again. Season 29 was the marked debut of Kenan Thompson, who would become the longest running cast member on the show, in which he's already famous. And Justin Timberlake got into the action as the famous Daisy mascot. Season 30. It's kind of meh. Of course, one of the biggest ones is that Tom Brady was picked to host SNL, and Will Ferrell decided to return with his unique creative talent. And Amy Poehler took over Jimmy's position as Kenan's co-anchor for Weekend Update. Season 31 was the first show to go in HD, and one of my most memorable moments is when the first ever former female cast member returned to the show. Who is it? Mrs. Elaine, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. You gotta love her. This is a picture from the 80s. Can we get a better one from that year? Ah, there we go. There she is. In some episodes, Horatio Sands took over for Tina's place in the times when she was pregnant. A new and better era came when season 32 came, and that were more focused on Fred Armisen, Will Forte, Bill Hader, Andy Samberg, Jason Sudeikis, Kristen Wiig, more Kenan Thompson, and Seth Meyers. Amy is now joined with Seth Meyers, who became the head writer of the show, to be a new co-anchor for Weekend Update. And another former female cast member returned to SNL, Molly Shannon, and we got a lot of digital shorts from Andy Samberg as well. You can describe him as the king of digital shorts. Season 33 only lasted 12 episodes because of the writer's strike of 2007. But this one's subsequently different. The show began with 4 of the first half episodes, then the writer's strike came, and then a return to complete with the remaining 8 of them. Which is kind of weird though, because I never expect that would happen in the show. But I do remember one thing about the season. Never take your period every week, ladies.
Season 34
felt like it's Kristen Wiig's season, because there have been a lot of feature players that are wanting to join Christian's side, but she's like the heroic beast, like,
I'm Kristen Wiig! No one can stop me during my replacements!
Anne Hathaway as Mary Poppins, kind of a turnover. And Seth Meyers has decided to do Weekend Update by himself. Season 35 was big and notorious. With all you Swifties out there, Taylor Swift hosting as host and musical guest after the big backlash at the VMAs with Kanye West, and a promotion to get Betty White to host SNL in 2010. Season 36 was kind of the same thing actually. There's nothing pretty much exciting about that. Oh yeah, Jeff Bridges with Cookie Monster singing a Christmas song. But finally, Christian was gone after the end of season 37, with Mick Jagger serving as both host and musical guest. Boom! I can remember that Christmas episode with Jimmy Fallon on it. Season 38 focuses on new SNL faces, Kate McKinnon, Edie Bryant, Taran Killam, Jay Farrell, Vanessa Bayer, with more Bobby Monahan and Cicely Strong. I can remember that puppet sketch that Bill Hader done with Seth MacFarlane. Season 39, same thing actually. Nothing is very exciting on that season, dude. It's just the same thing as usual. Oh wait, I think I remember one thing. The Fallon Timberlake dancing mascots essentially decided to join Seth in co-anchoring Weekend Update with him. But when he left, he was joined with longtime writer of the show, Colin Jost, which he decided to join as Weekend Update anchor for a lifetime. Season 40 has one of the biggest record-breaking anniversary specials since the Friends farewell season. Not only that, the regular season has some memorable features that weren't aired on regular television, including the sketch when Bill Hader's in that became a meme, and the completely hilarious scripted Blue's Clues ripoff with Michael Keaton. In fact, this is one of the seasons where Pete, Leslie, and Michael make their debut. And speaking of Michael, He's now joined with Colin to become the famous anchors we all know today on Weekend Update. So screw all those female anchors because we got two male boys. One of the sketches I remember on season 41 is Meet Your Second Wife. 3 contestants were mostly male, have a chance to see who their future second wife is, but unfortunately they felt disappointed. Of course, each of their main wives are in their audience, but the second wives? Why would you want to be married to a kid? And plus, we got the hosting debut of Larry David, who haven't been on SNL since season 10 for being a writer only one season. On season 42, I remember this poster sketch, 4 different posters, including that dirty Emma Stone poster trick, helping to encourage a student on his writing test. And all the posters are so annoyed about Emma's freaking poster character that they really want to shut up about. Okay, I remember this sketch from season 43. You got Bernie Sanders on The Price is Right, betting on a dishwasher, and your total choice is 90 cents. But the turnover points, this is a celebrity edition of The Price is Right, because you got a turnover of guest celebrities being guest models, and having a chance to play with them on a big wheel. What else can you expect? I remember when Adam Sandler hosted SNL in season 44, there was this big annual Sandler family reunion, in which of course, done by Adam himself, with all of his relatives of the Sandler universe, or sometimes distant relatives of him, had all gathered together to celebrate and appreciate how Adam has done his work. And John Mulaney, a former writer on SNL back in 2008, has now become a stand-up comedian and has decided to return to SNL in a 5-year streak he's been having. You'll see why in a moment. On season 45, Eddie Murphy has finally returned to host SNL after his departure in 1984, which is like 35 years at that time. He brought back his old classics, Buckwheat, Mr. Robinson, Don't Be Dammit, and hi, I'm Velvet Jones, the author of I Wanna Be a Hoe. But unfortunately, that season only lasted 18 episodes because of COVID. Season 46 is kind of a difficult sarcasm because everything was shot during COVID season, but it's still the genetic same plot point. Oh yeah, I do remember one thing. Keegan-Michael Key stars in this Muppet sketch with Kenan Thompson, and even though he was a Mad TV player, he still got the gig. He still remembers a thing about comedy sketches. Season 47 is kind of the same turnover, but I don't know how you could put it this way. But I do remember one thing about that season. Jason Sudeikis and Will Forte have returned to host. They were special guests in the past, making a bunch of cameo appearances, but they finally get to host that season. And this is the season where John Mulaney is now a 5-timer. 5 freaking seasons in a row! But sadly, this marks the end of the adventure for SNL Aluminum's Kate, 80, Cecily, Pete, Alex, and Kyle. Season 48 had a newer transition with a brand new logo and a now somewhat smaller amount of cast members. Now this is the era for these faces, along with alongside Colin, Michael, and Keenan. And one of the sketches I remember from that season is when Travis Kelce, future wife of Tay-Tay, doing an American Girl doll restaurant sketch, visiting an American Girl diner, bringing along her 2 tiny babes, way to have a sense of taste in their doll life. But unfortunately, that season only lasts 18 episodes because of goddamn writer strike again! If you remember I talked about the writer strike from last year, you know where this is going. Here's my theory from season 49. Let's think about that episode with the 3 girls singing the Christmas song, Christian, Kate, and Maya. You got the 3 girls here, but then when Kate hosted, Maya and Christian returned, and then you have all 3 of these girls here host every single one episode for that season. BAM! You got a big one. But the biggest buzz goes to Beavis and Butthead taking the standards here. And finally, we're here on season 50. We don't know how this is gonna go so far, but you'll keep watching this season and see how it goes. Well, that's it. That's my cover on all the seasons of 50 years of SNL. And I don't know if you noticed, Lorne Michaels, the longtime producer of the show, has planned to retire after 50 years. So during this year's Emmys, this is the homage that he received. Take a look at this.
We're here tonight to present the award.
Seth, may I immediately interrupt? We heard something backstage that need be addressed.
Now, before later. We heard that our dear friend, our mentor, Lorne Michaels, has been nominated for and lost the Emmy 85 times. He has never won.
Never. No. 85 times. It's just wrong. And we'd like to take this occasion to say a few words to him. Yeah, guys, though.
No. Lorne, look at me. Look, it's really hard to see if he's looking at me.
Yes.
You do have value. You are worthy, and you are not, and have never been a loser, even though you have lost a lot.
Lauren, now immediately look at me. Look at me and look at my mouth. Each and every one of those 85 times you lost, you were robbed. You hear me? Robbed. Robbed.
Guys, it's not your turn, Seth. Look at me, Lauren. It's Lauren. It is? Oh, fun. Lauren, look at me. Look, it gets better, okay? Just because SNL didn't work doesn't mean your next idea won't. Keep dreaming.
Guys, it's very nice, but Lauren has won 21 Emmys, not to mention that SNL's won over 200.
What? 200?
That's too much.
I can't believe you're complaining about this, Lauren. Not to be rude, but grow up.
And stop looking at us.
I'm so sorry about this, Lauren.
I really think it's Lauren.
And they never learn about the spirit of winning an Emmy. Why would they do this, you ask? It's a rule. Make fun of the boss of the show. Subsequently, I know the 50th anniversary special is coming next February, which they mentioned they'll bring a variety of all hosts and musical guests, including all the cast members from the past and present, to be part of this 1 3-hour special. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. But what I do know, in addition to their annual 50th anniversary special, there is a Saturday night based movie. Yes, Saturday Night, based on the true story of the first Saturday Night Live broadcast. The movie's playing theaters right now, so go get your tickets. I know I'm gonna be watching it, because as a 22-year-old freak, I'm old enough to watch any particular SNL sketch I want. But let's focus on the classic ones. And there you have it. That's SNL 50 I want to cover for you guys. This is the first show in the new room, so this is gonna be better than the last one. If you want to take one particular look at the old room, click the button right up here. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Also check out the social medias that I put on the description below. And until we see you again, I'll see you guys next Friday.
Next week, what's not in store for Halloween?